Ashurja means impurity, so it is the period during which the son of the deceased is considered to be impure. The period begins from the day on which the death has occurred and continues for the following 10 days. Varaha Pindadan means offering certain kind of food to the deceased in the belief that it would satiate his soul. Lord Varaha, while describing about the rituals which are supposed to be performed during the period of Ashurja and also the rituals of making Pindadan, told Prithvi, the observer of Shraddha rituals should take his bath in a river on the 3rd day from the day on which death has occurred. After taking his bath, he should offer 3 pindas, consisting of cereal flour, as well as 3 palmful of water into the river in the name of the deceased. On the 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th days, he should make offerings of 1 pinda and 1 palmful of water in the name of the deceased. He should never make offerings of the pindas at the same place. On the contrary, he should select different spots for this purpose. On the 10th day he should get his hair tonsured and change his clothes. His relatives, same gotra, should take their bath after applying an ointment prepared from sesame seeds, amla and oil on their bodies. Ekadishta Shraddha is performed on the 11th day. For this ritual to be performed, the concerned person should first purify himself and then offer pinda to the deceased person as well as other manis. The rituals of Ekadishta Shraddha are same for all the 4 castes. The Brahmins should be invited and fed on the 13th day. While feeding the Brahmins, a religious vow, sankalpa, is taken in the name of the deceased person. For the purpose of offering pinda, an altar should be made at river bank or any other suitable place. The rituals can be performed either facing south or east. Offering 64 pindas is considered to be ideal. Pindadan can also be made under a peepal tree, but the place should be well protected from the reach of animals like dogs, cock, pigs, etc. It is believed that if these animals visit the place where Pindadan is being made, then it becomes difficult for the soul to attain liberation. The rituals of Pindadan should be performed at a pure place, otherwise there is a fear of soul going to hell. The name and the gotra of the deceased person should be pronounced while performing the rituals. After the rituals are complete, all the assembled persons may sit down to have their meal. Donating things like an umbrella, clothes, cereals, ornaments to the Brahmins are believed to be auspicious. The flawed Shraddha and its prevention. Prithvi requested Lord Varaha to describe about the mistakes committed during Shraddha rituals and how they could be prevented. Lord Varaha replied, "It is a grave sin to partake of a meal meant for the soul of the deceased person. Anybody who has committed this sin should atone for his sin by observing a fast for full day and a night. He also has to perform many other rituals like taking bath in a river flowing eastward, performing tapan, making offerings of sesame seeds into the fire, shanti path, mangal path, etc. Partaking of panchagavya, a mixture of cow's milk, cow's urine, cow dung, curd and clarified butter, or madhupak is also believed to purify such a person. Similarly, showing disrespect to the invited Brahmins is also considered to be a grave sin. Donating articles to unworthy Brahmins is also considered to be an inappropriate act. The performer of Shraddha should refrain from all these acts. Preparation of madhupak. While describing the method of preparing madhupak, Lord Varaha told Prithvi, "Madhupak manifested from the right half of my body at the time when the process of creation began. This is the reason why it is so pure. Anybody who makes offering of madhupak in the course of my worship, attains to my abode." For the preparation of madhupak, honey, curd and ghee are mixed in equal proportion. While preparing it, sacred mantras in my praise should be constantly chanted. Giving some madhupak to a dying man liberates his soul. Description of Hell. Nagakata's experience. Once, Janmejay asked sage of Champayan about Yamraj Puri and its location. He also wanted to know as to what should a man do so that he does not have to go there. Sage of Champayan narrated the tale of Nagakata, one of the few blessed persons to have visited Yamaraj Puri with his mortal body. Long ago, there lived a sage named Audhulak. He had a son named Nagakata. One day, while Audhulak was performing a yajna, Nagakata arrived there and disturbed him by repeatedly asking, "To whom will you give me?" Sage Audhulak, in a fit of rage, cursed Nagakata to go to hell. But after he cooled down, he regretted for having cursed his dear son. Nagakata, being an obedient son, was ready to go to hell. His father tried his best to convince him against doing this, but to no avail. Nagakata assured his father that he would return safely after visiting Yamapuri. Thus, Nagakata went to Yamapuri and met Yamaraj, the Lord of Death. He stayed there for some days and witnessed all the events taking place over there. Ultimately he sought Yamaraj's permission to return. When he returned home, his father was extremely delighted to find his son alive. Very soon, the place was thronged by many people and everybody was curious to know about his experiences during his stay in the hell. Nagakata replied, "Sinners like liars, greedy people, jealous people, calumniators, treacherous etc., go to hell. Similarly, one who kills a child or a woman, or kills a Brahmin, or one who criticizes the Vedas, or lends money on interest, or one who abandons his parents or faithful wife, or one who criticizes his guru, or one who sells liquor, or a Brahmin who sells Vedas, goes to hell and tastes the fruits of his sinful actions." Yamapuri is made of gold and spread in the area of 1,000 yojan. It is well fortified and it is impossible for anybody to trespass its territory. I saw sinners experiencing unbearable torture over there. I also saw a couple of rivers flowing the Paushodaka, at the bank of which there are trees in abundance, and Vaivaswati, which flows through the central part of Yamapuri. Vaivaswati contains divine water which never dries up. Yamapuri has two entrances, one through which only virtuous souls like sages and hermits are allowed to enter, and the second, through which sinners enter Yamapuri. The former entrance is such that even heat loses its quality in its vicinity. The latter entrance is situated in the south and has a large iron gate. I also saw 3 large ditches called Audumba, Avirchiman and Aukavash, which are meant for the sinners. Sinners are also forced to pass through the flames that continuously keep on erupting to the west of Yamapuri. I saw a grand assembly hall where truthful and virtuous people live. It is graced by the presence of sages like Manu, Vyasa, Atri, Gautam, Angira, Brigu and others. There, I saw a goddess who is worshipped by Yamaraj. The goddess controls all the functions of the world. I also saw the ferocious Kala. He possesses extreme anger and is very powerful. Time does not have any influence on him, as a result of which he enjoys eternal youth. I also saw various types of demons and giants in the hell. I saw many messengers of Yamaraj punishing the sinners. Some were beating the sinners with sticks in their hands, while some sinners were being forced to enter fire. I saw all the sinner wailing and repenting for their sinful deeds. Many sinners were kept at a very dark place where there was no light. Those who had committed graver sins were put in boiling oil. I saw many sinners being given all sorts of severe punishment. I saw a place where iron nails were spread all around. This was the place where people who breached the modesty of women were given punishment. I saw 10 different hells, Tapta, Mahatapt, Rorath, etc. Each of the latter is more ferocious than the former. The sinners are sent to all these hells on the basis of the gravity of their sins. Yamaraj himself instructs Chitragupta on the punishment to be given to these sinners. Karmavipak. Karmavipak means the fruits one reaps according to his or her karma. While continuing with the description of various aspects of hell, Nijikata told the assembled sages. At Yamapuri, Chitragupta goes through the record of all the deeds committed by a man when he was alive and brings into the notice of Yamaraj. Yamaraj then decides upon the punishment to be given to the concerned soul. The punishment can be varied, like if the soul was virtuous then it would be sent to heaven, or the soul may even be made to take birth, as a tree, or an animal or any other creature. Sinners like those who had remained disinclined towards any kind of virtuous deed, or those who had abandoned their faithful wives, were sent to the hell named Rorath. The souls of virtuous people were sent to the heaven. Those who had extreme attachment to women took rebirth as human beings. People who had attained martyrdom while fighting a battle were sent to Indrapuri. Those who had engaged themselves in virtuous deeds throughout their lives were rewarded for their good deeds. Liberation from sins. Narada asked Yamaraj about the reason why joy was so elusive to human beings. He also wanted to know about the reasons for man's sorrows. Yamaraj replied, "Man's destiny is defined by his own actions. He has to taste the fruits of his actions. He has to taste the fruits of his each and every actions. So when a man finds himself amidst sorrows he must realize that he is reaping the fruits of his past actions. If a man commits virtuous deeds then joy is experienced, but sinful deeds invite sorrows and miseries. Desires force a man to take countless birth. A man takes birth on the basis of his past karmas. God does not interfere in this matter. So, only foolish people curse God for their miseries. They forget that their sorrows are of their own making. A man can liberate himself from sins by engaging in virtuous deeds and abstaining from sinful deeds. A man should perform his duties with a sense of detachment, because attachment results into the transmigration of the soul. Lord Brahma has declared that Shishuma Chakra is the symbolic expression of his own self. Anybody desirous of getting liberated from his sins must make an image of this chakra and worship it. One who visualizes this chakra within his body, too, becomes liberated from his sins. Mental worship of various planets, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Mars, etc., visualized at the various points of this chakra helps a man to become liberated from all the sins. Similarly, practicing pranayama for 100 times helps a man to become liberated from all the sins. The most easiest way to become liberated from sins is by engaging oneself in the servitude of a cow. This deed is as virtuous as making pilgrimages to all the sacred places together. Observing fast on Ekadasi also helps a man to become liberated from his sins. Having finished his narrations, Nijikata looked at the sages, who were listening with rapt attention. The sages thanked Nijikata for enlightening them on the sacred place called Yamapuri. Miscellaneous stories. Gokanch War. The famous battle of Tarakamaya had ended. The deities, after having defeated the demons, had once again regained the control of heaven. Lord Brahma, being satisfied with the positive outcome of the war, was engrossed in his meditation when Sanatkumar arrived and asked, "O Lord, I am anxious to know about the origin of 3 famous Shivlingas, Outer Gokan, Dakshine Gokan and Srinjeshwar." What made Lord Shiva to take the form of a deer, Gautam? Please enlighten me on all these subjects. Lord Brahma replied, the northern peak of Mandarakal mountain is famously known as Manjawan. This place is divinely beautiful and the stones and rocks over the glitter like diamonds. It has many rivers, lakes and springs. The atmosphere over there is so serene that even the deities are tempted to have their abodes at that place. This sacred place is graced by the presence of Sthanumeshwar. Nandi, the lord of all the Ganas of Shiva, was a virtuous Brahmin in Treta Yuga. Once, he did an austere penance to realize Lord Shiva. The penance lasted for 1,000 years. At last Lord Shiva became pleased and appeared before him. Lord Shiva blessed Nandi with an appearance similar to him, Shiva. Lord Shiva said, from today onwards you will be blessed with 3 eyes just like me. You will be worshipped by the deities and demons alike. You will be immortal and time and age will have no effect upon you. You are being granted with the lordship of all my Ganas. It will be your duty to stand guard at the entrance of my dwelling place. Lord Shiva then informed Nandi that in a short time the deities would be visiting him, Nandi. Due to some reason Lord Shiva had pledged not to give deities an opportunity to see his physical form. So, after blessing Nandi, Shiva disappeared and went to live in Shleshmatak forest in the form of a deer. Nandi was unaware of this fact. Meanwhile, after being blessed by Shiva, Nandi had attained a divinely radiant form. When the deities saw Nandi possessing 3 eyes instead of 2, they immediately understood that this could not have happened without the blessing of Lord Shiva. All the deities arrived at Manjawan Peak and requested Nandi to reveal Shiva's whereabouts. Nandi expressed his helplessness and told them that he was not aware where Shiva went after blessing him. He requested the deities to find out Shiva on their own. The deities searched for Shiva in all the 3 worlds but could not find him. I, Lord Brahma, was also present in the search team of the deities. I sat down to meditate. In the deep state of meditation, I came to know that Shiva was living in the form of a deer in Shleshmatak forest. I revealed this fact to the deities. All the deities then went into the Shleshmatak forest and recognized Shiva living in the form of a deer. The deer, Shiva, had 1 horn on its head. All the deities ran towards the deer with the desire of catching hold of it. Indra held the topmost part of the horn with a firm grip while I, Lord Brahma, held its middle portion. Similarly, Lord Vishnu held the lower part. Very soon, the horn got uprooted because of the force which was being applied on it. Lord Shiva vanished out of our sight. We were left behind with 3 pieces of horn in our hands. We cursed ourselves for our bad luck. Suddenly, we heard Shiva's voice instructing us to install those pieces of horns at that very place and worship them. The upper part of the horn became famous as Outer Gautam, while its middle portion became famous as Dakshine Gautam. The part of the horn, which Vishnu installed, became famous as Sringeshwar. All these 3 places have incomparable religious significance and are situated in Nepal. Shleshmatak forest is situated at the distance of 2 miles from the famous Pashupatanath temple. Sanat Kumar thanked Lord Brahma for enlightening him on these secret topics. The means of Vishnu realization. Once, sage Agastya narrated the following tale to King Bhadrashva. One day, Narada went to Lord Vishnu and asked about the means by which a devotee could realize him. Lord Vishnu replied, "Those who worship me by chanting the mantras of either Purusharthakta or Vedic Samhita can certainly realize me." Those who perform oblation according to the rituals of Pancharatna can also have my divine glimpse. But the rituals of Pancharatna Yaja can be performed only by the Brahmins. All the rest of the castes can realize me by devotion, chanting my name and making pilgrimage to holy places. Sage Agastya, while giving discourse to King Bhadrashva, also predicted that sinners would outnumber the virtuous ones in Kali Yuga and said, people would abandon their respective dharmas and the caste system would become extinct. Lord Vishnu, the Almighty God. Once, Sage Agastya had organized a grand yaja in which he had invited all the deities and sages. Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also went there. Agastya was puzzled as to who was the most superior among all three of them. He asked Lord Shiva in this regard. Lord Shiva replied, one who is worshipped by performing oblation, one who is the source of this universe and into whom it ultimately merges, is none other than Lord Janardhan. So he should be worshipped first of all. He is the only one who expresses himself in three forms, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Rajasguna is predominant in Lord Brahma along with some quantities of Sattvaguna and Tamoguna. Lord Brahma has manifested from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Tamasguna is the dominant quality in me, Rudra, with little bit of Sattva and Rajogunas. Narayana is the embodiment of pure Sattvaguna. In Satya Yuga, he is worshipped by the means of meditation. During Treta Yuga, he is worshipped by the means of oblation. During Dwapara Yuga, he is pleased by nothing but the rituals of Pancharatna. During Kali Yuga, people will worship him by various means. Lord Shiva's revelations had completely satisfied Sage Agastya. Sage Gautam curses the Brahmins. There were many sages present at the yaja organized by Agastya. Some of them asked Lord Shiva as to why he had created some scriptures which appeared so confusing to 8 human beings. Lord Shiva revealed to them that he had done so to protect the Brahmins from the curse of Sage Gautam. Then he narrated the incident as it had happened. During ancient times, Sage Gautam did an austere penance in Dandakaranya forest. Lord Brahma became pleased and gave him some divine seeds capable of producing eternal crops. Gautam then went to Saptasring mountain and made his hermitage there. He sowed the seeds and became pleasantly surprised when he saw rice grains sprouting up within few moments. He lived there happily with his disciples. In course of time, the whole country was struck by famine except the place where Gautam had his hermitage. One day, few sages arrived at Gautam's hermitage. Gautam treated them with all the respect. These sages enjoyed the hospitality of Gautam and stayed at his hermitage till the famine phase was over. Then they decided to go back to their respective native places. When they sought Gautam's permission, he requested him to stay for few more days. The sages then decided to use deceitful means for taking Gautam's permission. They created a superficial cow with the help of their illusionary powers and left it near the hermitage of Gautam. Gautam was very pleased to see that cow. He eulogized it by sprinkling water on it. Hardly had he finished his act than the cow died. All those wicked sages arrived there and cursed Gautam for killing an innocent cow. They told him that they could never live along with a person who had killed a cow. Gautam then requested those impostors to tell about the means by which he could become absolved from the heinous sin he had committed. The sages told him that the cow would become alive once Ganga water was sprinkled on its body. Gautam once again did a tremendous penance to please Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva appeared, he requested him to give a lock of his hair. Lord Shiva agreed to give a lock of his hair to Gautam. Gautam then went to the spot where the cow's body was lying. He sprinkled some water emanating from the hair. The illusionary cow disappeared within a moment, and in its place was created a river. Right then, the Saptarishis arrived there and blessed Gautam. Meanwhile, Gautam realized that a wicked prank had been played on him by those wicked sages. He cursed those wicked sages that they would become bereft of the knowledge of Vedas, and also that they would no longer be entitled to perform the Vedic rituals. The Saptarishis requested Gautam to have mercy on those unfortunate Brahmins. Gautam then declared that his curse will come true only in Kali Yuga, and those Brahmins will not be affected by his curse in all the remaining 3 yugas. The Saptarishis came to me and informed me about whatever had happened to those unfortunate Brahmins. I created Shiva Sanhita from my breath, which is similar to Vedas as far as the importance of rituals are concerned. I did this for the benediction of the Brahmins. I know that Brahmins would fall from grace during Kali Yuga. People would give little respect to the Vedas and create their own scriptures. Confusion would be prevalent and people would discover false religions. Prakriti and Purusha. Once, Lord Shiva, while describing about the incident when he had a divine glimpse of Lord Narayana, told sage Agastya, Purusha is none other than Lord Narayana himself, and Prakriti is the medium through which he manifests his powers. I have been fortunate to have a divine glimpse of this Purusha. Lord Brahma, after having created me, instructed me to create. But I did not know how to create. So, I decided to do penance and went into the ocean. In the ocean, I saw an entity who was no more than the size of a thumb. He was Purusha himself, and I immediately recognized him. I started meditating on the form of that almighty Purusha. Suddenly, 11 more entities emerged before me. They were all very radiant, and the water had become hot on account of the heat emanating from their bodies. I asked them as to who they were, but they did not give any reply and went out of my sight. The next moment, I saw an extremely handsome man. I asked him about his identity and also about the 11 entities whom I had seen few moments ago. Those entities were the 11 Adityas and had gone to help Lord Brahma in the process of creation. Then he said, I am Narayana, the omnipresent Lord. I am blessing you with divine vision so that you can see my divine appearance. When I fixed my glance at Narayana, I was amazed to see the same thumb-sized Narayana standing before me. But now he was no longer having the size of a thumb. On the contrary, he had expanded his body to such an extent that he appeared like a giant. I also saw Lord Brahma sitting on a lotus flower emanating from his navel. I eulogized him with complete devotion. He blessed me and said, "You are eternal and nothing is beyond your knowledge. You will be worshipped by the deities. I shall take 12 incarnations in the coming eras and shall worship you in each of my incarnation." Having said this, Lord Narayana disappeared. This was how I saw the divine form of the Purusha, Lord Narayana. Buin cautioned the islands. All the sages listened with rapt attention to the description Lord Shiva made of the almighty Narayana. But they had few more queries in store, so they asked Lord Shiva, "O Lord of Uma, please tell us about the expanse of the earth, the situation of mountains and the prominent islands." Lord Shiva replied, "Bhuloka is situated on the surface of the earth, while the earth itself is based on Almighty's chest. With the desire of creating the 3 basic gunas, Sat, Raj and Tama, the almighty Narayana created water first of all and went into Yoganidra. Then a lotus flower manifested from his navel on which was seated Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma then created his Manasputras, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan and Sanat Kumar, all of whom were enlightened souls. Then Lord Brahma created sages like Daksha etc. Daksha's daughter Shetarupa was married to Manu, from whom she had two sons, Pryavarata and Uttanpad. Pryavarata had 10 sons: Agnina, Agnabayu, Meditithi, Dhruva, Jyotishman, Dyutaman, Havya, Vayushman, and Savan. He had divided the earth into 7 islands and presented them to each of his 7 sons. Agnina became the king of Jambudvipa, whereas Meditithi, Jyotishman, Dyutaman, Havya, Vayushman and Savan became the rulers of Shakadvipa, Kraunchdvipa, Shalmalidvipa, Gomdvipa, Plakshadvipa, and Paushkardvipa. Savan had 2 sons, Dat and Mahaviti, who were the rulers of Daki and Kaumud provinces respectively. Similarly, Dyutaman had 3 sons, Kush, Vaidyat, and Jeematvihan. Jyotishman had 7 sons, Kaushal, Manukavya, Piva, Andhra, and Dakarak, Muni, and Downdubi. Kush had 7 sons, Udbid, Vnuman, Rathapal, Manu, Dhriti, Prabhakar, and Papil. Meditithi too had 7 sons, Nabi, Shantmaya, Shishur, Mukadam, Nanshiva, Kshmak, and Dhruva. Nabi's wife was Marudevi, who had given birth to Rishab. Rishab was the father of Bharata, upon whom the area lying south of Himalaya mountain is named. Sumati was the son of Bharata. Bharata, after appointing Sumati as his successor, went into the forest to do penance. The names of some prominent kings coming from the lineage of Sumati were Tej, Satsut, Indradama, Pamshthi, Pratihata, Nkat, Aunmetta, Abath, Augata, Prastota, Vibhu, Prithu, Anant, Gaya, Naya, Virat, Mahavatriya, and Sudaman. Sudaman had 100 sons. This way the population continued to grow. The 4 yugas, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, occur in a cyclic order. Each of the latter follows the former. A Manvanta comprises of 71 Chattara Yugas. Jambudvipa. Dwelling upon the prominent islands, Lord Shiva told the assembled sages, Jambudvipa is spread in the area of 1 lakh yojan, and it consists of numerous Janapadads. It is inhabited by Siddhas and Charanas and is blessed with incomparable natural beauty. A total number of 9 Varshas lie within the territory of Jambudvipa, which itself is surrounded by various oceans on all sides. Towards its east and west lie saltwater oceans. Some prominent mountains of Jambudvipa are the Himalaya, the Sumayu, the Himakat and the Nishad. Territory situated towards east of Sumayu mountain is inhabited by the fair-complexioned Brahmins. Towards its south live Shayas. Shudras live towards the south of Sumayu, and the area lying towards its north is inhabited by Kshatriyas. Shakdvipa. Its area is approximately twice as compared to Jambudvipa. It is inhabited by virtuous people who are prosperous and who enjoy a long life. They are free from the tortures of old age. This island is covered by oceans on its 2 sides, saltwater ocean on one side and Kshisagar, ocean of milk, on the other. The mountain ranges lying in the northern part of this island is known as Udayajal, while Chandragiri is situated in the western part. There are some other mountain ranges like Rajatgiri, Ambiki, etc. situated on this island. Altogether these mountain ranges total 7 in number and are known as Kula Parvatas. Some prominent rivers flowing through this island are Kumari, Kumari, Nanda, Venika, Dhenu, Ikshumati, and Gabasti. There is a large tree named Shak in the central part of this island. This is how this island derived its name. Kaushadvipa. This island is twice the area of Shakdweepa. There are 7 prominent mountain ranges in this island which are known as Kula Parvatas, Kumud, Aunat, Drona, Kank, Isha, Mahish, and Mandar. There are 7 prominent rivers flowing through the various parts of this island. Pratoya, Shiva, Chitra, Chandra, Vidyalta, Vana, and Mahati. This island has got its name from cowshaw grass which are found in abundance in its central part. Krauncha Dweepa. It is twice the area of Cowshaw Dweepa. It is 7 prominent mountain ranges, Kraunch, Pavan, Devrit, Devishta, Devanand, Govind, and Poundarik. There are also 6 prominent rivers flowing in this island, Gauri, Kumudwati, Murtri, Munajava, Khati, and Poundarika. Kraunch Dweepa is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter, ghee, on all its sides. Shalmali Dweepa. It is double the area of Kraunch Dweepa and covers the clarified butter ocean from all sides. There are 7 prominent mountains as well as 7 rivers in this island. This way Lord Shiva disappeared after having finished the narration of all the prominent islands. Trishakti. Describing the reason behind the manifestation of Trishakti, 3 goddesses manifesting from the bodies of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, Lord Varaha told Prithvi, there lived a mighty demon named Andak who used to torment the deities. After being driven out of the heaven, all the deities sought Lord Brahma's help. Lord Brahma took them to Lord Shiva and requested him to find some solution to the miseries of the deities. Lord Brahma then meditated on the form of Vishnu who appeared instantly. The powers emanating from the eyes of all the 3 deities got combined and resulted into the manifestation of Goddess Parmeshwari. On the request of the deities, Goddess Parmeshwari created 3 more goddesses from her body, Brahmi, Vishnu Priya, and Raudrani. Goddess Brahmi was of fair complexion while Vishnu Priya's complexion was wheatish. Goddess Raudrani appeared extremely ferocious in her dark complexion. Lord Brahma advised Goddess Brahmi to do penance at Shwetagiri mountain. Similarly, Vishnu Priya went to Mandarajal mountain to do her penance while Lord Shiva advised Goddess Raudrani to go to Nilgiri mountain. While Vishnu Priya was doing her penance at Mandarajal mountain, crores of goddesses manifested from her body, prominent among whom were Vidyat Prabha, Chandrakanti, Suryakanti, Gambira, Vijaya, Jaya, Jayanti, Aparajita, etc. All these goddesses acted as the escorts of Goddess Vishnu Priya, who is also called Vaishnavi. One day, Sage Narada visited Goddess Vaishnavi and was dumbstruck by her divine beauty. He had never seen such a beautiful woman in his life. On his return journey, Narada met Mahishasura, the mighty demon, who had been blessed by Brahma. Mahishasura had conquered all the 3 worlds. Narada praised the glory of Mahishasura but went on to add that his majesty was incomplete until he married Vaishnavi. Narada said, I have never seen such a beautiful woman in my life. She is worshipped by all the sages, Gandharvas, deities as well as other celestial beings. Although you are worthy of becoming her husband, yet the fact is that you cannot have her as your wife, until you have conquered the deities and the Gandharvas. After sowing a seed of lust in Mahishasura's mind, Narada went away. Mahishasura vowed to marry Vaishnavi at any cost. Lord Varaha continued with the tale and said, after Narada went away, Mahishasura summoned his ministers, Pragas, Vyas, Shanku, Kana, Vbhavasu, Vidyanmali, Simli, Pajanu and Krura. When all the ministers arrived, he requested them to find out means so that he could marry Vaishnavi. Pragas, one of the ministers, was very intelligent. He warned Mahishasura against going ahead with his evil designs and said, "This illegal abduction could become the cause for your destruction." Vyas corroborated the statements of Pragas. Finally everyone agreed that it would be better if Vaishnavi was persuaded to accept Mahishasura as her husband instead of forcefully abducting her. So all of them finally came upon two conclusions. First was to send a messenger to persuade Vaishnavi into marrying Mahishasura, and the second was to defeat the deities in a battle. A demon named Vaidyaprabha was sent to meet goddess Vaishnavi. Mahishasura then launched a fierce attack on the deities and defeated them. The deities were forced to flee the battlefield and seek refuge in Brahma Loka. Meanwhile, Vaidyaprabha had already reached Mandarajal mountain. Without showing any respect to goddess Vaishnavi, he tried to impress her by narrating the amazing tale of Mahishasura's birth. During ancient times, there lived a sage named Supashva. Once he was doing penance and an ogress named Mahishmati along with her companions arrived at his hermitage. Mahishmati was very much impressed by the grandeur of his hermitage and decided to occupy it. She changed her appearance and became a buffalo. She then started tormenting Supashva, who was initially terrified but finally came to know about her real identity. Supashva cursed her, "You deserve to remain as a buffalo for the rest of your life." Now Mahishmati became extremely terrified and begged for being pardoned. Finally, Supashva took pity on her and said, "You will get liberated from my curse only after you give birth to a calf." Thus Mahishmati started wandering all over the places in the form of a buffalo. Once, while wandering, she reached the bank of river Narmada, where sage Sindhudweep was doing his penance. A significant incident had taken place just few minutes before her arrival. Sage Sindhudweep, being unable to control himself, had ejaculated sperms after infatuated by a beautiful ogress taking bath in river Narmada, which was flowing nearby. The sperms fell on a rock and was eventually washed off by the swift currents of Narmada. As Mahishmati was thirsty, she drank water from river Narmada. While quenching her thirst, she also consumed the sperms, as the result of which she became pregnant. In course of time, she gave birth to Mahishasura, who grew up to be a mighty demon king. The same Mahishasura wants to marry you. After finishing his story, Vaidyaprabha waited for Vaishnavi's response. Goddess Vaishnavi burst into a loud laughter and all the three worlds became visible to the messenger, through her opened mouth. Vaidyaprabha was scarred to the hilt as he realized that the woman was extraordinary and divine. Jaya, a dwarplika of Vaishnavi, told him, "Our goddess has taken a vow of celibacy, hence your master's wish will remain unfulfilled." At last, Vaidyaprabha went back empty-handed. In the meantime, Narada arrived there and informed goddess Vaishnavi about the deities' defeat at the hands of Mahishasura and requested her to kill the demon. Goddess Vaishnavi ordered her escorts to get prepared for the battle. She then proceeded with a huge army to fight against the demons. In an ensuing battle, Mahishasura's army was severely humiliated. Most of the demons were killed and the survivors fled from the battlefield. A demon named Vupaksha informed Mahishasura of the death and destruction caused by goddess Vaishnavi. Mahishasura was infuriated and came forward to fight the goddess. Goddess Vaishnavi was aware of his might, so she manifested her divine form in all her glory. Now she possessed 10 arms and held lethal weapons like a sword, a bow, a shield, a mace, a trident, a chakra, etc. in each of them. She then remembered Lord Shiva, who appeared within a moment. Goddess Vaishnavi requested him to be witness to the fierce battle, which was going to take place. A fierce battle commenced, which lasted for 10,000 divine years. Mahishasura ran helter-skelter, changing his disguise frequently, in order to protect his life, but goddess Vaishnavi chased him wherever he went. Ultimately she killed him at Shata, Sring mountain, by severing his head. All the deities heaved a sigh of relief and praised the glory of goddess Vaishnavi. Similarly, goddess Raudri, who had manifested from Lord Shiva and had gone to Nilgiri mountain to do her penance, had killed a mighty demon named Ru. Ru was a very powerful demon king. He ruled over Atnapuri, which was situated in the middle of the ocean. He had become invincible on account of a boon received from Lord Brahma. After being defeated by him, all the deities went to seek the help of goddess Raudri. Goddess Raudri, who is also known as Chamunda, finally killed Ru, the dreaded demon. Having completed the tale, Lord Varaha blessed Prithvi and went back to his abode.